Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pamella, and on today's video I am doing one that I've been wanting to make for eons now, essentially ever since I started making plant videos, and it is in regards to my Dieffenbachia, my dumb cane, and a plant I don't think I have ever mentioned on my channel before, my Aglaonema Silver Queen. Yes, this beauty also lives with my Dieffenbachia, my dumb cane. Yes, so on today's video I'm going to be sharing with you all my care and every tip that I have for these plants. So if you're interested in any info I can share, then keep on watching. So welcome back everyone. I know my angle's a little bit weird, a little bit off, but you can see scale the size of me, how large this plant is in comparison to where I am right now. This plant is the same height as me and I am 5'6". So 5'5.5", but we're gonna round to 5'6". This plant is so tall. I also have it on top of just this plant stand. It's not a plant stand, it's actually just some shelf bench situation that I was given. So yes, so backstory on this plant. This, I don't remember exactly what kind of Dieffenbachia this is. If anyone really knows, actually I'll put it down, I'll put it here, right? I've had this Dieffenbachia for at least 12 years, and I've had it ever since it was like a tiny little thing. So this is my Dieffenbachia Camille, I believe this is the kind, and it doesn't look amazing because it needed to be watered more than I was giving it. But this plant has been pushing out just so many new growth points, as you all can see, and it's given me multiple new plants at the bottom of, you know, the pot. So I'm just happy overall with its growth, even though it's struggling just a tiny bit. This plant was smaller than this plant when I originally had it. So the first tip I can give to you all is patience, because I understand you want your plant to be as large as mine, but it has taken me years and years in order for my plant to get one this tall, and also for the foliage to get this large. This plant was gifted to me by my mother, like when we first moved to this apartment, and oh my gosh, it's come such a long way. Honestly, I've lost many leaves, and that's another thing I want to let you all know, is that losing foliage is not really a sign to worry too much about, because plants will naturally shed smaller leaves in order to grow. They have to sacrifice, you know, ones that are not going to benefit it any longer. So do expect for lower foliage to fall, eventually yellow over time, and that is absolutely okay, because your plant will continue to grow. As you can see right there, my leaves are just growing and growing and growing, and they're staying this large shape, you know, this large size that the rest of them are. If you're also wondering how my plant and why my plant looks so full, I do want to note that there is another plant inside of this pot. This plant broke one day. I don't remember what I was doing, but it snapped, and I told myself, oh shit, I'm gonna pretend like that this not happen, and I just put it right back in the soil. At that time, I did not have a lot of knowledge of plants. I don't think I had a lot of knowledge of plants until maybe about 5 years ago or so. But as a child, as a teenager, I was just going with the flow, And I think I also developed my green thumb that way, just going with the flow and having one or two or a few plants that I can learn its roots, you know, learn what it wants and go from there on. So that piece broke and I just stuck it in here. So that since then has been growing, and I left it close to the parent plant because I think it needs to be close to the parent plant. It makes it just look fuller, like it's just one plant. And I want to mention that my Aglaonema Silver Queen lives at the bottom of this pot. I don't remember how many I had in here, but this plant just continues to multiply and multiply and multiply. I've noticed there are new just plants emerging from the soil, so I'm really happy and excited about that, because that helps to fill out my plant pot. Instead of it just being just the canes and the cane foliage, it's the cane foliage with a bush of silver queens right here. So I really love how the two different sorts of foliage blends in well with each other. The dark green with the light interior, while the silver queen has the dark green with this like two-tone silver sort of interior stripe situation going on with it. And I absolutely love these plants. What I do notice is that if you let them get too dry, you will start to lose lower foliage, but that also just means that your plant is growing and it wants to push out new leaves. So I will try to zoom you all into right here. But as you can see, this right here is a yellow leaf. But then if I look closer to the top of the plant, there's new growth coming through. So I'm not worried about this leaf coming out, and it's, you know, it's seen its years. So that's fine. I'm gonna just let it do its thing. I'm not gonna like pre-break it off yet. I'm not sure whether it's absorbing the rest of the energy from the yellow leaf or whether the yellow leaf is using too much energy in the plant to try to stay alive. Either way, I'm not messing with nature. I'm gonna let nature do what it wants until it browns or it gets really ugly and I want to take it off like it's fully yellow. So watering, like I said, this plant doesn't like to get too dry, but you have to worry about the soil that you have your plant in. I water this plant once a week, but in the summertime I see that my plant wouldn't mind getting watered maybe instead of every 7 days, my plant wouldn't mind getting watered every 5 days. So that's what I've noticed with my my Dieffenbachia and my Aglaonemas. In the summertime, they would not mind their watering days to be shortened to a more frequent watering schedule, if that makes any sense. Hey! What's up, guys? Before I continue the video, if you're enjoying this, if you're getting some tips about this Dieffenbachia that you're interested in, do give this video a thumbs up and share. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, because I see my analytics. Some of y'all not subscribed to my channel, but you're watching my videos. Don't be lurking. Don't be lurking. Become part of the fam. We're all welcome here. We're dope AF, alright? Be part of the HauzPlant community. Like this video, subscribe, share, and let's get back into the care. So let's talk about fertilization. For many years, for most of my plant's life, I did not fertilize it. What I did use for fertilization eventually, maybe like 3-4 years ago, I discovered the fertilizer spikes. So I started to use the Miracle-Gro fertilizer spikes, and I also used some of the Miracle-Gro fertilizer waters, and I believe that has helped my plants a lot. And since then, I've upgraded from my fertilizers. I use fish emulsion, I use my own aquarium water sometimes, and other times now, more frequently, I've been using Super Thrive mixed with liquid dirt. So that's what I'm going to be watering my plant with today with you all. I have a pre-mixed bucket of water and fertilizer, and I have my water inside of this canteen. So I'm just gonna water my plant until I see water crowd the bottom of my saucer. And when you're watering your plants, I definitely recommend that you make sure you're watering all around your plants. Don't just section, oh, I'm gonna water this part because this is where the stem is staying, you know. Roots are all over the pot. That's why plants get root bound. It doesn't get half bound, you know. It gets full pot bound. So make sure you're watering all over, so all of the roots and all of the parts of the plant is getting water. Another plant care tip that I feel like people kind of look past a lot is cleaning the foliage of your plants. So what I recommend you do is you get a microfiber cloth, any sort of towel, cloth, something that's gentle enough not to just like rip the, you know, the layers of your plant, and get some water. Right now I had the bright idea, let me use some of my fertilized watering water to clean the foliage of my leaves. But you're probably wondering why. Because on the daily I actually do mist my plants with just plain water, but some days if I feel special and I have leftover water in my bucket, I do add it to another spray bottle and mist my plants with just fertilized water, just to give the plants a little bit more nutrients on top of the foliage. So what I'm gonna do is just let my microfiber cloth soak in here. So now that my cloth is moist, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my foliage and just wipe dust that's on the foliage. And as you can see, these little tiny fuzz balls came off of my plant. So I definitely recommend that you wipe the foliage of your plants once a week, once a month, every so often. Just make sure that you are doing that, because plants actually breathe through their foliage. They absorb that good sunlight, okay, and they convert that into energy, and they consume that energy, and they make it into food. And that's what plants do through their foliage. That's how they create chlorophyll and their chloroplast. Okay, that's the green part, you know, inside of the plant cell. So go ahead and wipe the foliage of your leaves. It helps your plants breathe better. Another big reason why I definitely recommend that you wipe your foliage is because I also recommend that you mist your plants. It doesn't hurt to mist your plants out in the wild, out in nature. There's dew, there's perspiration, there's all of this in the wild inside of your home. You don't have that. You just have dry, humid air, if you have humidity, but it's just hot. So go ahead, if you don't have like humidifiers on, use a spray bottle, mist your plants. I do this once a day. And in the summertime, if I have the time, I go ahead and do this more than once a day. The last care that I definitely recommend for this plant is lighting. In regards to lighting, I would recommend you give this plant as bright of the light as you can, bright indirect light. This plant, from all of its life, except for the past year, 6 months to a year, it has lived at my northeast facing window and has absorbed that natural sun rays, which I definitely attribute to the size of this plant too. Instead of it getting that, you know, medium light or that false fake light, it gets that good sunlight, and it really is converting all that sunlight into energy, and then, you know, into sugars and all of that good stuff. Lighting You can give this plant bright indirect light, but this is also a medium to, I would say, medium to medium low light settings. But the more light that you can provide for this plant, the larger the foliage of your plant would be, and that goes for pretty much all plants that grow outdoors, which is every single plant. Of course, there are epiphytes or plants that are understory plants. Of course, their lightings do differ, but for me, I find my Dieffenbachia does enjoy a good light. And if you're noticing drooping with your plant, you might need to up your watering and up your lighting because the plant is just unhappy. So I love my Dieffenbachia. This is my oldest plant. This is my favorite plant. So I, of course, had to highlight and put a whole care video for it. And again, I feel like I under highlighted the Silver Queen, but they live in the same pot. They require the same care. They get the same nutrients. They are struggling as together. They're unhappy together. They're happy together. They are partners. And I love these two plants together. The combination of my Silver Queen and my Dieffenbachia just is so perfect, and it's such a statement plant and will continue to grow and grow. So provided the cares that I've recommended, of course, do your research, look for more videos on the plants that you're interested in to become the best plant parent that you can be. And if you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already. Join this little kooky family because we're pretty awesome here. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified every single time I upload a new video. And I'll see you in the next one. Let's get growing. Bye.